Okay. So we're gonna talk about the debates, right, Vin?
Yeah, it was very chaotic.
Okay. I was busy, so I didn't watch the debates. So I had some questions. I saw some things.
Like the highlights.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to watch. So
It is.
never
mind. I'm glad it was only an hour and a half instead of 2 hours.
Oh yeah, it would have been brutal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to know some things. Like, did they talk about gun control?
No, they did not.
They didn't talk about gun control.
No.
Did they talk about healthcare?
Yes, they did.
What did they say about healthcare?
Trump said like Obamacare was a failure, and of course he says he's protecting people of pre-existing conditions, which of course we know is a lie.
Okay, why is it a lie?
Because PolitiFact has fact-checked Republicans who say that they're protecting pre-existing conditions, but they voted for Trump's bill, and that bill doesn't protect people with pre-existing conditions.
Okay. And then what did Biden say about healthcare?
He said Trump taking away healthcare in the middle of a pandemic was unacceptable.
Okay. And then did they talk about climate change?
Oh, yes, they did.
Okay.
This is probably one of Biden's strongest areas.
Really?
Biden said he opposed the Green New Deal. He supports the Biden plan.
What's that?
It says increasing the amount of electric charging stations, reducing, not banning but regulating fracking, and also saying that it also will do things like get to net zero by 2035 is the end goal of the Biden plan.
What's net zero mean?
Where we're having offset emissions, like for example, like we plant trees or do something like that to reduce emissions.
Okay.
So we're not producing any emissions.
Oh, okay.
But that's very hard to get to.
All right.
It's a pretty bold claim.
Yeah. Those are my big ones, is gun control and healthcare. What were the other things that
They talked about the cities and how Trump always blamed it on Democratic cities, but like Chris Wallace mentioned, that cities like Fort Worth and Tulsa, which are Republican cities, also have experienced violence and looting. And he, my cat.
That's the cat.
Anyway, we also, he discussed that, and what he said was that Trump blamed it on Antifa, which of course, according to National Public Radio, there has been no evidence of Antifa in the protests.
Okay.
And also and then he failed to he said something about the Proud Boys,
what are the Proud Boys?
like a right-wing extremist group.
Okay, what do they do?
My grandparents actually seen them at some protests. They take signs out of people's hand, try to provoke violence, agitate things, stir it up, just do a bunch of bad things.
Oh.
And they were actually happy about what Trump said about it.
Okay, that sounds kind of bad.
Worrying, yeah, it is.
Yeah. All right, and so you've taken a debate class before.
Yeah, but we just quit it because of my stress, though.
That's true. We did stop it at the end because school started.
Yeah.
But what do you think your debate teacher would have said about this?
She would have said probably, if any of you guys did this in our debates, you probably would have been kicked out of class.
Why? What was he doing? What were they doing?
They were interrupting each other. They agreed to uninterrupted time. To be honest, Biden did interrupt plenty, but Trump interrupted more, as Chris Wallace pointed out. And I think in terms of who won the debate, I mean, to be honest, it's kind of close because Trump distracted Biden quite a bit and tried to just basically have all his propaganda, but he never answered any of the questions, so I don't think he won. I think Biden won. And he did decent on climate change and racial justice, but again, it was so hard to tell because it was just so chaotic.
What did Trump say about climate change?
He said, it's caused by human activity to an extent. And he said the Paris Accord was disastrous.
Oh, okay. Why does he think it's a disaster? Do you know?
I don't know, probably because he's funded by the Koch brothers or something like that.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, and He says it's like foreign deals, but I mean, it's kind of an embarrassment pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord since we're the only country that basically says we don't believe in climate science.
So, are we the only country that's not in the Paris Climate Accord?
Yes.
Okay.
At least Trump, that's what Trump did.
Yeah, pull us out.
Yeah, he pulled
Yeah.
us out. Even countries like Russia, North Korea,
North Korea's in the Paris Climate Accord?
yeah, China, and Indonesia, even like less developed, less educated countries like those are in the Paris Climate Accord, but we're not. It's just frankly embarrassing.
What's like one big thing in the climate accord that
Like
you
they
should care about?
they said that they will achieve like net zero emissions by 2050, and also it's basically a discussion between all of the countries about what they can do to reduce emissions and what they can agree to reduce emissions.
Okay. That sounds okay to me.
I know. Mm.
Okay. Well,
And we were making phone calls today. We got a few good ones and a few bad ones. One person wasn't an Arizona resident. They lived in North Carolina, and I asked, "Are you voting for Cal Cunningham?" And she said yes, but she wasn't sure about Biden. That's pretty much what most polls reflect in North Carolina, actually.
really interesting.
And then
Okay, well, we're at 6 minutes,
Yes.
right? So we want to make it short.
Yes.
Yeah. And so this is Vin's take on the what is it called? The debates, right?
Yes.
And it's hard to tell who won,
It is.
but you kind of like the answers from Biden a little bit better than
Yeah, and most polls have Biden winning the debate.
Really.
Some by double digits, some by single digits.
What poll says double digits?
I believe there's a CNN poll that had him up like 30 points.
Oh, but CNN's fake news.
No, but they do have a liberal bias, admittedly.
Okay, and then what was the single digit?
I think there was one by the New York Times that had him single digits.
Oh, okay. And that one's kind of, they say that's fake news too, right?
Yeah.
Can't win.
Seriously,
I
seriously,
know,
seriously,
we can't win.
seriously,
We can't.
seriously.
All right, that's it. We don't want this to be too long.
Okay,
so
bye.
We'll see you guys later.
I'm sure to
Bye.
vote.
Vote.